So we got it. It's finally here. It's
Yay!
announced. New processors.
2 hours for big processors.
Yes, exactly. And we'll stop the video now because it's just a video showing Apple Campus, which is nice, but let's get to what's really in store, the processors. They're touting that it is going to be faster, integrated with iPhones and iPads, high high security on them. What are you thinking about this on Macs, especially since you're not only a web developer, you also edit photo, you edit video. We know the challenges of what we have right now. From what you saw, what do you think?
Well, to be very honest with you, I've only been limited by, uh, like what I've had time to do. I mean, I've cut video together. I've had,
Mhm,
things like that. But I am really starting to get into cutting video together now,
mhm.
and I've only found, it's fine, but it's not something that is mind blowing. Um, the demos that they're always showing on these um, presses and things are are always so top tier and the very best. And it yes, they're going to show that it's absolutely amazing, but I'm not exactly sure if that's what I'm going to have.
Yeah.
So
Mhm.
I'm like, until I get it on my system and I get a new system and get it all into practice, yes, I would love for everything to work like that.
Mhm.
Is basically what I'm saying, and I'm sure they would too.
Yeah.
But can't wait to dig my claws into that.
No, me too. And for us, we've been around this whole transition game before, from the Power Mac,
Oh yeah,
the
totally.
Intel, and the last time there was a transition, I remember there was a lot of problems switching over from Power Mac to an Intel-based computer because not
Yeah,
everything worked well.
yeah, yeah.
So I'm kind of curious what it's going to be like. But from what I've seen so far, especially with 4K editing, it has been unless you have a really good graphics card, it is tough to edit 4K video.
Yeah, it's extremely tough, very slow,
Yeah.
lots of processing time. So
Mhm.
I'll be interested to see if this speeds it up at all.
Yeah. And my biggest concern is price.
Hmm.
If this is going to make it cheaper because they don't have to pay a fee to Intel and they're keeping everything in-house, or is it gonna be even more expensive because of the fact that they're building everything in-house? I'm really curious about that.
Yeah, they didn't mention price tag at all.
Mm-mm.
They didn't
And
even
nor
indicate it.
yeah, they just said this fall that we're gonna see the first of these Apple Silicon Macs, but
They
we
said,
don't.
well, they said by the end of the year, and the transition would take 2.
Yeah. So it's like, are we gonna see a product with it in September when they announce the iPhone?
I bet you that would be, going on the annual release of an iPhone. I would expect the first products to be the phone, and um, then maybe by the first of the year, new laptops and things.
Mhm.
But
Yeah, it's gonna be
for Christmas or something.
yeah, it's gonna be interesting, this whole transition, because it's so much we've all been accustomed to the Intel Macs.
Hmm.
They say it's gonna be a seamless transition and that if you have an Intel Mac, it's still gonna work,
Yeah, with the
whatever.
Universal 2 thing.
Yeah, so I'm curious to see what that's gonna be like. Because if it doesn't work and they start saying, "Hey, your Mac is obsolete now, you're gonna have to transform," I wanna see how many people leap into this to go in.
Well, okay, let me be clear. You know, unless it was a complete disaster,
Mhm,
I would be sticking with brand only. I mean, because to begin with, I learned design and I learned, uh, I learned computers and design and everything on the Mac. That, like, back in the day, I started with Illustrator 5. You know, so like, it's I've been around the block with the Mac, so I'm sticking with that. Because I also understand it's more intuitive to me now than say the PC, but still the PC has had infinitely more powerful graphics and processing time and power. Another thing that I so I'm going to be sticking with that unless it just completely is like I said, a disaster, but I don't think so. One thing that surprised me or it kind of made me think was when they were showing the footage of Tomb Raider, that this might open it up to other video game titles, and I was like, oh my god, am I finally going to be able to play Planet Coaster?
Yeah,
You
exactly.
know?
I mean, that's the one thing. Like, if we are in the Mac ecosystem, games
Sure.
have not exactly been. They've been available, but not in the places that PC games have been.
Flip side is we've gotten a lot of work done,
Yeah,
but no time to play anything. But yeah, that was one thing that made me think.
hmm
You
yeah.
know,
Another key point that they were talking about was that seamlessly transitioning between an iOS app, an iPad app, into the Mac, which we already knew what was good, which it was coming. It was just a matter of when.
we couldn't do that before.
Well, now it's supposedly supposed to work
Oh,
better.
now it's really here.
Yeah, now it's really here.
Okay.
Now it's supposed to be able that we develop, and it's supposed to just cross-platform easily.
Yeah, you're right. I've actually been getting a lot of notices from Adobe
Mhm.
Cloud about Photoshop and saving to the cloud and your PSDs being synced, and
Yeah.
so okay,
Yeah.
let's see.
I'm just curious, like, is Lightroom Classic still going to be used through Adobe with ARM with their silicon processors? Because
I
I
I
like
have no
Lightroom.
idea.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
like
well, a
Lightroom
lot of
Classic.
people use Lightroom, so
Yeah, and I don't like the new Lightroom. It's just doesn't do what I need it to do.
well, that they're gonna adapt it. They're gonna fix
Yeah,
it. Uh,
exactly.
I honestly, back in my day, I I remember when Illustrator 7 came out and people lost their minds because it was just like, "What?" It was so different.
Mhm.
But then Illustrator 8 came out and it was like they took what worked and what people liked from the past and they fixed it. And so I just hope we don't have too many growing pains. I know they'll get to it and they'll make it
Mhm.
right, but how long
Yeah,
is that going to take?
exactly. Hopefully not too long, because with our work, we have to constantly put things out as fast as possible.
You know what? And here's the other thing,
Mhm.
if I may.
Yes.
Why do they have to do this? Why do they? It might not be an issue this year, but why do they have to do this during like releasing right at haunt season? Because I cannot tell you how many times I have been, pardon, I've been just waiting at Not Scary Farm, waiting to get in, and I'm all ready and updated with the brand new update to the OS, and I'm like, oh my god, how do I do this? Where do I do this? And Jeff's like sitting there laughing at me, like, you updated? You're an idiot because you always do this every year. And I'm like, well, now so he just waits until after. But
Yeah.
it only throws another shade of complication onto the proceedings for me. But
Mhm.
whatever. I mean, you know,
Yeah, I get you, because like right now, this year is my year where I could upgrade my phone. And every year I always say, "Oh yeah, they have a new phone. Wow, I'd love to try it at like when we do a hunt or when we're shooting video, etc." I don't have to carry around my camera equipment all the time.
right.
And you always have an issue trying to get it on that day. And it never comes out.
It
You're never
never.
available.
It's like you just don't
Mhm,
do field testing when it
mhm.
matters like that. Just don't do that. Just stick with what you
Exactly.
know. But anyway,
Exactly. Well, and
minor quibble. So
exactly. And getting off of this new processor, we did see a new Safari that they talked about. And this is something that affects like you and I, who develop our websites. And I guess a lot more privacy issues are going to be shown through Safari. And I guess that's what they had showed, is that they're going to be a tab where you're actually just the person using Safari can see what software is monitoring while they're looking at your web page.
Okay.
And security-wise, it's fine because we don't collect data. If you're going to collect your data, you have the right to put into a MailChimp type of thing where you could actually get your email, but we don't collect any other data, and you're probably the same.
Yeah, it doesn't.
How do you think it's going to affect us? Because I really don't think it's going to affect us much.
Well, okay. Let's go on. How many people are on mobile devices as opposed to desktops or
Yeah.
tablets?
Yeah.
Like for us, like over half are on the smartphones.
Mhm.
Okay. And then it goes down to desktop and then to tablet. So I think the bigger concern is how the processors are going to kind of interpret the information as opposed to Safari, because Safari itself, to be very honest, is only a small fraction of how people see things.
Mhm.
So I would just hope that it comes more in line.
Yeah.
Obviously if you are on an iPhone, you're going to be looking at the sites through Safari.
Mhm.
So I think that's the bigger concern, is what Safari looks like on a smart device or a phone, and how it processes things. I honestly don't see it making that big of a change.
Mhm.
Maybe speed or functionality, I don't know, but I'm not overly concerned.
Yeah. Like me, I just think it makes our readership and our viewership something a little more. If they get a little sense more of that we're taking care of them.
Yeah. I mean,
I
but
think that's what it is.
yeah, I mean, that's all it is. So I'm not overly concerned. So
Yeah, and I think that's the one thing I just like is that now that we realize that mobile biggest audience now,
mhm.
and I love the fact that now if we we're developing our own app now for Muse. I'm
Mhm.
sure you're going to be doing so in the future. It's like to have everything seamlessly go through everything through one code just makes it easier on us.
Yeah, most definitely.
Mhm.
The the whole app development game is such a daunting mess. I mean, there's
Mhm.
designing for different platforms and things like that. So one-stop shopping is always nice.
Yeah, and talking about this is with the Watch OS now, you're able to design your own watch face and actually have somebody download that watch face from your mobile site.
Wow. See, I'm not much of a watch guy, so
Yeah. So, which is cool. I mean, it's cool for you because you can make a Horbuzz watch face and have people download it, or even charge people to download a watch face with Horbuzz on their Apple Watch now.
I
Which is
guess.
we're always looking at ways to make some money. It's like,
How we
let's
gonna
be
get you?
honest. Exactly. But since it's already 12 o'clock, we have to get back to work. We can't be here all day.
Wait, you're what?
Yeah, work. It's something that we do. We run a website, so we have to, keep it up and get people looking at it.
Oh yeah.
So let's close up the show for today, the live stream. Norm, tell them where they could find you and all the 411.
Okay, you can find me on horrorbuzz.com, and that would also be at horrorbuzz on Instagram, horrorbuzz book on Facebook, horror_buzz on Twitter. That's that.
Hey, that's everything. Everybody go follow him. We're going to truncate this video after we're done in order to get the Apple Silicon presentation, then up to our conversation. But you can always find everything here on Muse Live, all our tech, entertainment, music, movies, everything. And we'll have different stories about everything you saw in this presentation throughout the day. So I'm Mike Sandoval. That's Norm Gidney. And we'll see you soon here on Muse.
Adios.